Hey guys, just kicking off another live stream tonight because I see there is quite a bit of information coming out here about the tsunami warnings in Hawaii and for some of the California coastline. There's tsunami advisories elsewhere, some tsunami warnings for the Aleutian Islands up in Alaska as well. So I thought I'd just go ahead and sign back on here and try to share some of the stuff that's been going on. I'm going to check things out on the channel here. Okay, it looks like I got the live stream up and running. Let me know if you guys see anything here. You can probably see it bouncing back and forth, but okay, let's see here. All right, I think I am up and running. Okay, I see people starting to join the chat a little bit here. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on here. I thought I'd just kind of share some general information about how a tsunami works and whatnot. For example, plate shifts abruptly, causing an earthquake and displacing water. Waves are generated and move out in all directions across the ocean. Some of these waves traveling as fast as 600 miles per hour. So over the open ocean, they're kind of gentle waves. They're maybe not gentle, but they're fast moving and they're generally not very high. They don't really start to gather a lot of height until they approach the shoreline. And it's not like your normal wave here. When you go to the Washington coast, you talk about a 10-foot wave and you just think of a big breaking wave on the ocean and whatnot, because a general tsunami wave is kind of a general increase in the ocean level. And so you're bringing in a whole bunch of water there, and just a foot of water with the tsunami wave can start to move cars and things. Then you get to 2 feet and you start getting debris and you start destroying things and you're moving cars down roadways and things like that. So when you hear about a 1-foot tsunami wave, it can be a lot worse than it actually sounds when you compare that to just some 1 to 3 foot beach wave day at and you're sitting at Waikiki or whatever on the Washington coast. But yeah, so that's a little bit on how a tsunami works. And also, along with the increase in the sea level and whatnot, you got all kinds of crazy currents and whatnot. There was a lot of damage in California in 2011, even though, we didn't have huge damaging tsunami waves just sweeping over the beaches and stuff like that. But still, those currents got into the harbors and whatnot, and it did a lot of damage. So I'll show you some other stuff out there. Of course, the tsunami advisory does go for Washington and portions of Oregon under tsunami warning also, and advisory. Stay out of the water and away from the shore. I mean, this is just not the time to be down there around the harbors and the marinas, on the beaches, the jetties and whatnot. You never know exactly how this is going to unfold. There's no telling what kind of energy is moving towards the Washington coast as we speak right now. And of course, dangerous waves and currents are expected. Now, if we take a look at the Adak Island tide gauge, this blue line is the expected water level. Here's low tide rising towards high tide. These are the tsunami waves here hitting the tide gauge there. Again, Adak Island there on the Aleutian Islands. And actually, let me go back to that because I'm going to scroll back and forth there a little bit. This is the Atka tide gauge. You can clearly see these tsunami waves. Tsunami was generated by the earthquake. Nikolsky tide gauge as well. In Village Cove near St. Paul tide gauge, you can see the tsunami is out there in the Pacific Ocean. So, yeah, let's take a look at the chat here a little bit. It looks like we got almost 500 people in here currently. Audio is 5x5. Glad to hear it. But yeah, 8.8 earthquake. And a tsunami advisory in effect for places like Los Angeles, California. Surging seawater in and out of harbors. Doesn't have to be a huge fluctuation in sea level. Again, these dangerous currents and just a foot or two in the rise of those water levels can be quite damaging. So yeah. And generally speaking, for the West Coast, it's after about 11:30 or so, and perhaps lasting on in towards tomorrow. Some of these areas are going to be dealing with some of this activity, especially for places like Crescent City, California. So this was all spawned, if you didn't know, by Kamchatka out there, 4:25 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8.8 earthquake, probably the largest earthquake on planet Earth over the last 14 years, if you can imagine that. So take a look at Oahu. You can see the tsunami warning. Look at some of this wording. Go to the 4th floor. Destructive tsunami is expected. Evacuate red areas of evacuation map or go to 4th floor or above in a building at least 10 stories. You don't want to be in those smaller buildings there. I guess they worry about structural integrity and things like that. But yeah, crazy stuff here. Honolulu alert. Oahu Department of Emergency Management. Sorry, it's been a long day. But yeah, you can see some of the buoy action out over the coastal areas right now. We're not expecting those waves just yet here for the Pacific Ocean. Those are coming over the next hour or so, but they should be coming in towards Hawaii as we speak right now. I've been checking out some of the highways there in Hawaii. There still is some traffic out there, but it does not look like it was as bad as it was earlier. So I'll get back towards the Kamchatka. Yep. Yeah, there were some pretty big aftershocks from that quake there as well. Yeah, there was a 6.9, which is it's a big earthquake in of itself. Commercial vessels in Hawaii are leaving or have left port. That's very interesting. Let's see. So 8.8. Yeah, there's a big difference between 8 and 8.8. When I heard it was an 8.8, I was like, okay, I might be onto something here. That's kind of crazy. Now, this is for Eureka, California, kind of the area that we're expecting a lot of this, you know, the strongest waves or the biggest waves here is places like Crescent City, California. These waves can last, I mean, look at this, 10 to 36 hours. That is pretty incredible. The tsunami advisory has been upgraded to a warning. That's what's changed since my last live stream. Let's see. Coastal Humboldt and Del Norte counties, tsunami zone, dangerous inundation of land, strong currents, erratic, unpredictable waves lasting for 10 to 36 hours. So yeah, crazy stuff there. And if we zoom in on that tsunami warning there, again, Crescent City, California, this is 11:50 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. There's about an hour and 20 minutes from now. So yeah, kind of interesting to see what goes on at Hawaii there. Looks like the waves should be arriving at any time here. And we're going to check out some of this activity here as well. I'm going to close that one out. We're going to look at the tsunami. We're going to update this one. Looks like we're up to watch 7 for the West Coast. When was this last updated here? So we're talking about 10:22. I think this one was just updated here. Let's see if I can click on that. For some reason, it does not let me. Let me refresh here. I'm sure this... Yeah, it looks like the site's probably just absolutely swamped, as you guys can imagine. I'm going to let that go for now. Also, I wanted to show this. This is Midway Island. You might have seen some of this on social media, but check this out. I see Aaron Green is in the house. Look at these waves. This is 1,300 miles to the northwest of the Hawaiian Islands. Clearly, tsunami waves have arrived, and these can fluctuate. Just because you see these big waves here does not mean this is going to gradually get smaller the entire time. You could still get additional large wave action there. And again, this is Midway Islands. This is a precursor of probably what is on its way towards the Hawaiian Islands. If we take a look, oh, look, it's just arriving at Hawaii as we speak right now. The first wave is arriving. I'm going to zoom in a little bit there. Look at that. That is the first tsunami wave arriving now to the Hawaiian Islands. This is on Kauai right here. So if not already, shortly, probably arriving for some portions of Oahu. Let's check Pearl Harbor. I don't know. Is that a tsunami signal there? I'm not sure. Water levels. The blue is the predicted level. The red is the actual water level. So kind of on the high side of things, but it has been kind of on the high side of things for a lot of today, but kind of spiking up a little bit there. So let's check some of this other data here. Let's go out towards the northeast side. No tides available for, okay, it doesn't look like it's there yet. Let's go down towards Honolulu, sorry, I've got to pronounce it right. And I don't see any sign of the wave action there yet. But this is definitely tsunami wave activity reaching the Kauai coastline as we speak. Again, I'll plot data there, and you can see just here in the last few minutes, it is on its way in there here, folks. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of water levels we get, what kind of currents, what kind of damage is going to occur from this. Fishermen advised to take their boats 12 miles out here in Crescent City per the Redwood News TV. Yeah, not a bad idea. The waves are definitely much more nasty once you're closer to the coastline. They bunch up and they grow in height. Some funny comments coming in there. So, yep, Los Angeles is in the house. Hello, everybody. Yeah, the 3-foot tide coming in all at once. That's a good way to think of it. And a foot can start to float cars when you're moving water in at that rate. And another thing, for places like Crescent City, see, if I do this, you might think, well, it's going to be coming in at a certain tide level, but let me show you something here. What did we talk about? So Crescent City is going to be dealing with this for 10 to 36 hours. That's going to come. It's low tide right now, but the high tide is coming here in the next 6 hours or so. So yeah, there's going to be high tide when there's going to be these crazy currents going on. So that it has the potential for some pretty extreme damage for some of these locations. But as you can see right now, we are not getting any tsunami waves on the West Coast. It is not scheduled to be here just yet. So let's take a look at some of this activity here. Do we have anything off the coastal areas here? Let's take a look off Queen Charlotte's there. Nothing too much as of right now. I'll get off of that. I want to check this out here really quick because I want to show you, I mean, just the litany of, there's the 8.8 there. Then you can see we have all of these aftershocks, 6.9, 6.3. So a lot of medium range aftershocks here, just absolutely shaking the ground. You can imagine the people there near the coastline just getting absolutely rocked tonight. 1,000 people in the chat. I see a lot of people that I recognize in here. Drew is here. Let's see. Crescent City tsunami sirens were going off earlier at sunset. Hopefully everybody is aware. Looks like the word is getting out. There will be no tsunami for you in Arizona. There was a joke going around on social media earlier that North Dakota, you're not expecting a tsunami. Yeah, I've heard that before. The canyon off Crescent City is a tsunami. Kind of focuses that wave action. Yeah, that's going to be tough to see the stuff coming into Hawaii as well. So I'm not even showing any of these webcams. It's getting dark there already. The Puget Sound is probably, you're going to be fine. I mean, at the most, you'd probably have a little bit of current action or something. I don't know if it would even be noticeable down into the Puget Sound. But the water is up further north. You might see a bit of difference, I believe. Let me see if I can actually get some of this data going here yet. Okay, there we go. So let's see if it does wave heights here. So you can see Tacoma, less than a foot. Bellingham, generally less than a foot. Mo Clips, you're getting waves for 9 hours. You're going to be dealing with a high tide. Some of these currents could be a little bit brisk with some of that because you could get some damage. And you can see Crescent City. I mean, a 5-foot rise in sea level during high tide when you're dealing with some of these tsunami waves would be pretty intense. I mean, that would cause some damage. Also with Port St. Louis, 24 hours, 3.8 feet. That is nothing to sneeze at here, folks. Brookings, Oregon, 1.5 feet. You can imagine that's kind of a rise in the sea level there. And again, it's mainly the places right along the beaches that you have to be worried about more than not. Of course, if you're getting kind of elevation and whatnot, you're going to be fine. Check out some of the... You'll be fine in Death Valley too. Couple of 1,100 people in the chat. So yeah, hopefully the word is getting out to everybody. I mean, it seems like authorities are doing a pretty good job getting the word out. Let's see, when was this last one here? So this was at 1836. That was 636. So yeah, you can see the waves are not quite as big as they were when they initially arrived there. And again, this is midway. If I back off here, you can see the Hawaiian Islands are here. Tsunami wave coming this way, spreading across. And it just now, if you're just joining, it just started to hit Kauai. If I plot the data, there goes, wow, look at that spike. So this is in feet. You can already see it's jumped 8+ inches in just a very short amount of time. Fort Bragg, you have the chance of getting some wave and current action as well. Thanks for the kind words. Glad the word is getting out. Glad I can help. Be interested to see if there any kind of wave action happens in Pearl Harbor here also. I don't know if that was a little bit of the tsunami stuff going on there, but hard to say. Molokai E, is there any tide gauge there? No, there's one in Kahului here. We'll check that one out. Nothing going on there for Maui just yet. We're going to go down towards Kona side. Is there anything down here? There's nothing down here a little bit Kailua Kona, so we're going to go up to does this have the data here? Yeah, okay, so this does have data. Looks like it increased a little bit there, but that's probably just normal. And this is what I really worry about here, because Hilo is really susceptible to tsunami waves. Big tsunamis back in history. If you look at the 1960, the 1946 tsunamis, absolutely devastating there in Hilo. Of course, nothing is there yet. But there's a tsunami museum there right by the waterfront. And they've kind of abandoned a lot of the waterfront here because the tsunamis were so devastating. They made sure that people were not going to start building back in here again, because these places got demolished here. And you may have heard that as well. Some planes that were flying from the West Coast and from some other areas diverted back to their locations. They did not want to come out to Hawaii, of course, during a tsunami warning. Honolulu, if you don't know, let me take a look here. Look at the international airport. They call this the reef runway for a reason here. You don't want to be out on this reef runway or any of these areas here if there's any kind of a tsunami threat ongoing. I used to work at Island Air, so on Lagoon Drive here, I forget which side road it was here. It might have been, it was one of these, but I worked right down here, and I always thought about that, including in the Sumatra earthquake in 2004. I was at work. So I was like, it was in the back of my mind, like, hey, are we going to need to get out of here? Because I don't want to have to try to be running to the last second to save my life to get back to higher ground, which can be very difficult to do with all the people that are living in Honolulu. So the webcam here. So somebody's... I can't get to the web. It seems like these are just like overrun there. Let me see. I don't see anything on the cameras. Yeah, looky-loos were killed in the Crescent City, California tsunami. Yeah, I remember that. It was like, what, 12, 13 people were killed because they went down there. The waves looked like they were subsiding, and then stronger waves came. Yes, Hilo has a tsunami museum. Yes, it does. Pretty interesting stuff, too. I worked at Honolulu when I worked for Island Air. I worked for Hawaiian Airlines out here as well, but that was a little bit further in towards Dillingham. And I work for Alaska Airlines now. So yeah, I've worked for 3 different airlines. Oh, look at, okay, I got some people telling me to look at the, where did I put my, oh, there we go. So we're going to back out to Hawaii here. We're going to go take a journey back out to Kauai. Oh, wow. Yeah, look at that wave action. Here goes, there's the crest, there's the trough right there. That must have been a trip to see. You can see, I mean, it dropped by more than a foot and just, yeah, that, I mean, that's the sea level too. So this is like the huge amount of water being moved. You can imagine the currents associated with something like this. It's pretty intense. I mean, clearly a tsunami signal there has reached Kauai. So yeah, we are under a tsunami advisory. Now let me back out here. You can see places like La Push, Nia Bay, Long Beach, generally less than a foot, but still, the currents can still damage things here if you've got boats in port and things like that. And it's not something you want to be out on the beach. You don't want to just happen to be in that one location that all of a sudden the sea level rises really quickly and you get this, you know, some kind of wave that sweeps you off your feet there in the middle of the night. So yeah, just be careful out there. Port Orford up to 2 feet, Brookings up to 1.5 feet. So yeah, be careful out there, folks. Let's see what this warning advisory for Hawaii was, number 6. So you can also see a good description there. Tsunami is a series of long ocean wave. Each individual wave crest can last 5 to 15 minutes or more and extensively flood coastal areas. The danger can continue for many hours after the initial wave as subsequent waves arrive. Tsunami wave heights cannot be predicted, and the first wave may not be the largest. Tsunami waves efficiently wrap around islands. All shores are at risk no matter which direction they face. Ron Dog, thanks for the generosity. The trough of the tsunami wave may temporarily expose the seafloor, but the area will quickly flood again, and that draws a lot of people towards the shoreline. It can look really strange. I mean, you can get fish that just get stranded out there, and you can see crazy debris from things that have been sunken and whatnot. People rush out there and try to gather the fish and whatnot, or gather whatever they see out there. Then all of a sudden the tsunami comes in really quickly. I mean, I'm sure some of you guys have seen the 2004 tsunami scenario where the wave just went out what it seemed like a mile out into the ocean. I mean, just a big trough. And then it just came roaring back in there and just, swept people away with it. And of course, another main danger of this extremely strong and unusual nearshore currents can accompany a tsunami. Debris picked up and carried by tsunami amplifies its destructive power. High tides or high surf can significantly increase the tsunami hazard. So yeah, and we are there now. It is currently 7:45 in Hawaii, and just like clockwork, we indeed, here we are, Kauai. I'm going to update this. Let's see, can I just refresh? Is that going to just give me a refresh there? Auto refresh is on, so, okay. The Ring of Fire is waking up Mount Rainier. Yeah, wouldn't that be something? If Mount Rainier goes off, we got a own entirely new set of problems. No, I don't see, yes, I'm probably, we're killing this site here. No, I don't see Honolulu. I don't see any kind of tide. But yeah, definitely tsunami wave has arrived to Kauai. Just waiting for it to get to Oahu here. Again, these waves are fairly quick movers. See if Pearl Harbor's got anything yet. I don't think. That doesn't look like a sharp rise, so I'm saying that's not it yet. And again, if you guys are just joining, this is how a tsunami works. Large earthquake, big uplift. You can kind of see it there. Displaces a whole bunch of water just on a large scale, and that energy has to go somewhere. And over the open ocean, these waves are not that detectable. They're not that big, but they're moving fast. 600 miles per hour they can move. And I mean, it's pretty incredible when you think about it. How much energy to kick a wave at 600 miles per hour. And then you imagine what happens when that bunches up towards the beach. It can bring pretty nasty waves. $2 Chuck, what a generous. That's very nice of you. Thank you very much. I think that matches the highest super thanks that I've ever gotten there. Thank you very much. The Geo guy on you, I'm gonna have to check that out. Geo guy on YouTube who monitors seismic activity said that has been ticking up for a week and he expected something to happen. So this is the tidesandcurrents.noaa.gov. And again, if you're just joining here, we're looking across some of the Hawaiian Islands to see when this wave is going to arrive. That is interesting right there. Mukuoloe, Hawaii. Am I pronouncing that right? I've never pronounced that one before. But this is on Oahu right here. Kaneohe. That looks like a tsunami signature right there. It looks like it's just now arriving to Oahu. That's the first sign of a wave getting to Oahu here. So there must be some activity on the North Shore by now. Check Pearl Harbor again, plot data. I don't see anything there yet, so we'll keep watching. Let's check a look at the harbor here. There it is. Tsunami has reached Oahu. So that's the tsunami wave right there. Boom. So this is about as of 7 minutes ago. It's reached Oahu. Supposed to hit Washington within about the next 40 minutes, I believe, maybe the next hour or so. Thanks for all the kind words, everybody. Hope you're enjoying. Energy magnitudes greater than a nuke explosion. Yep, exactly. Aaron Green is in the house. That's a good question. Maybe in 100 years we'll be able to answer something like that. Does this quake make the Cascadia quake more likely to happen? Would it make it less likely? Very good questions indeed. I wish I had the answers to that. Let's take a look at Pearl Harbor again. Don't see it yet there for Pearl Harbor. Maybe it's making its way in there, or it's just not going to get in there because it is a bit more of a protected harbor. Let's go back out to Kauai. Yeah, wow. Wild. Look at the rapid fluctuation here. And again, it only takes a foot of this to, sweep stuff away, including cars. So hopefully everybody is being careful out there, because that's pretty rapidly shifting stuff going on here. I mean, what did it take? It took 6 minutes to go from the crest to the trough there, or the trough to the crest. It took 6 minutes both ways, in and out. And it started to come in at about 7:18. So you can see Hawaii time, they really nailed that. They said about 7:17. The tsunami signature showed up at 7:18. Pretty impressive. Well, that's good to hear. Patrick Ross says this will not increase the chances for a quake along the Cascadia subduction zone. But do we really truly know? Who knows? Reports of receding water along some of the coastal areas around Hawaii. Yep, definitely. I mean, you saw the surge here, the drop, the trough, and now we're back up again. Moku'oloe, is that how you pronounce it? Moku'oloe. Looks like that is just the start of the tsunami signature, I would bet, right there. By Kaneohe, Honolulu. Honolulu, something's happening there. You can kind of see the surge right there as well. So interesting stuff. Let's take a look at Maui really quickly as well. Don't see anything there yet. Yeah, so those of you guys just joining, let's go ahead and take a look again here. We had an update. I'm going to update this one more time here. Let's see if this will update anything else coming in. Still on watch 7. So you can see along the Washington coast, I mean, you might laugh at this 1 foot surge, but that's an increase in 1 foot in the sea level. And then accompanying these waves, or this increase in sea level is probably a more accurate way to describe it. Strong currents could be damaging. Crescent City, 5 feet. I mean, you're kidding me, man. That's a lot of water getting moved in and out really quickly. And you can see the duration forecast of the tsunami there as well. It's pretty 30 hours. I mean, goodness. So yeah, this is the latest. Port Orford, I mean, 2 feet. That's nothing to sneeze at. 15 hours forecast tsunami duration. Brookings, 1.5 feet. Still the advisories along the west coast, except for near Crescent City. There is a warning out there. And you can see tsunami alerts explained. This is a good graphic here by tsunami.gov. Tsunami is happening or about to happen. Dangerous coastal flooding and powerful currents are possible. Move to high ground or further inland immediately. This is currently what Washington and Oregon, most of Oregon anyway, is under. Stay out of the water, away from beaches and waterways. A watch means we are not sure what's going to happen yet here, and it's probably going to be brought to an advisory or a warning, or it may just be dropped altogether. Water is receded in Hanalei Bay, not looking good. Yeah, thanks for the kind words, guys. Hope you guys are enjoying this live stream, or at least it's informational. I mean, I don't expect you to enjoy a tsunami, but yeah. So, tsunami advisory for Washington State. And again, this is what was put out by tsunami.gov. Stay out of the water and away from the shore, including harbors and marinas. Dangerous waves and currents are expected. Always be better to be safe than sorry, right? And again, here's something the National Weather Service Anchorage was showing. You can see some of the tide gauges there. Village Cove near St. Paul tide gauge. We're looking at Nikolsky right there. Obvious tsunami signature. Atka. Obvious tsunami signature, varying by 2.5 feet. Big differences in sea levels in a short amount of time can be very damaging. You can imagine how much water has to move in and out to move the tide gauge like that. It is damaging currents, very dangerous. At Adak Island tide gauge, I mean, and again, you can imagine this is sloshing in and out, boom, boom. I mean, these don't look like impressive waves, but that's a huge fluctuation in the sea level on the tide gauge in very short amounts of time, huge amounts of water being moved there. So yeah, interesting stuff. And of course, this goes all the way down through California, down towards Long Beach. Spawned, of course, by the 8.8 earthquake we had off the coast of Russia, 425. Yeah, Hanalei Bay is going through the actual tsunami wave action right now. Yeah, the wave has arrived for Oahu there, you can see. Tide is supposed to be falling, but you can clearly see how much water got surged in. Now that's going to be dropping off here as this wave fluctuates back and forth. Let's see if anything's going on in Honolulu yet. Yeah, man, big spike now. There we go. Yeah, that's definitely tsunami waves reaching Oahu currently. Maybe I can do this. Actually, let me unpin that. I'm going to do this. We're going to go. I'm going to try to duplicate that so I can just leave it on these stations. Website's a bit sluggish. I'm sure they're just getting absolutely hammered with traffic right now. So we will zoom in, and I'll keep one on Kauai here. You can see the second big trough is now coming. Obvious tsunami signature. And we're going to go to Maui next here as well, because I have a feeling it's probably on its way. Let's see, Kauai. Don't see anything yet, but we're going to continue to watch that. We'll zoom in there. And we'll check the Big Island. And we've got about, I mean, some of these waves are going to be approaching the west coast here shortly as well. We'll check Kona side. I don't see anything for the tsunami stuff yet for Kona. Let's check Hilo side. Windward side. Hilo's something I'm a bit worried about. Hilo, that bay is really conducive to tsunami action, so that's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens here with that. And now we're going to bounce out towards the California coast. We're going to go to Crescent City, expecting the worst waves along the west coast if you're just joining. Right now, we don't have anything going on. We are at low tide currently. The tide's going to be rising as we go, but waves should be arriving shortly. For example, Crescent City, scheduled 11:50. That is about 51 minutes away. Nathan Gomez, thank you very much. And again, another thanks to Buck Chuck. Thanks for the generous super thanks there. Awesome. Send him a personal message there. Or not so personal. And yes, tsunami works, tsunami advisories. We're getting tsunami waves all over the Pacific Ocean right now. The advisory is in effect. Strong wording from the Honolulu Alert Department of Emergency Management there on Oahu is really driving home the point there. I can imagine the chaos that's going on at Waikiki. I mean, it's one of the most densely... Hotels are just packed in Waikiki. There's thousands of people there at any given time. So it's probably just absolute chaos there right now. I mean, you've got thousands of people that are on the first 4 floors there. And where are you putting these people? You can't send them out onto the streets. So they're just packing rooms. Are you having people share rooms? I can't even imagine what's going on there. Because it's you got to go a little ways. You got to go a pretty fair amount in. You notice the Alawai behind Waikiki there. And it's just kind of not many places to go. So I'm staying in a hotel if I'm on Waikiki right now, or I'm going up to Diamond Head or something like that. All right, let's check the tide stuff here. Let's do... Yeah, if you guys, Honolulu, Hawaii, the wave has arrived. Tsunami wave has arrived, Honolulu, Hawaii. And there we go for Kauai. You can see there's the initial crest, trough, crest. And you look at this and you're like, oh, it's only 1.5 feet. It's only a 2-foot rise. But you imagine how much water it takes to raise a tide gauge like that in the open, not the open ocean, but along the shoreline. That's huge amounts of water rapidly fluctuating in and out. Very dangerous conditions. Here is Kahului. This is on Maui. And we look at, and I believe, yeah, this is, we're looking at the Kona side there, and then we're looking at Hilo side. No waves have arrived yet. Waves are supposed to arrive here in the next, 45 minutes or so on the west coast. And we're going to duplicate that one, and we're going to go a little bit further up. We're going to go towards, do we have one on Mo Clips here? Or something close to it? We don't. Let's do La Push. No signal yet. We are at low tide officially right now, but again, these waves will be with us for the next 24 hours. The tsunami is hitting Hawaii right now, yes. We don't know how bad anything is yet. People had a lot of warning. Anybody caught in that was really, that's at their own peril at this point. Nathan Gomez, thank you very much for the generosity. Give some to your daughter's charity. Yes, indeed. Thank you, sir. Maui in 2011, we evacuated up in the mountains. Nice. Coastal campgrounds are a flurry of activity. Yeah, there's people that stay on the beaches in Hawaii. Crazily enough, I know a pilot who moved out there and brought his family, and they were going to sleep in a tent, and he was going to go do his ground school and stuff and live on the beach. And I think the wife got sick of that after about 3 days, sleeping on the beach in a tent every day. But yeah, good times. So yeah, let's check. Let's check in here. Let's go to. Yeah, you can see we're now starting to bring. We got the spike with the arrival of the first wave here. Now let's see how far this drops down. This is Honolulu here, the main harbor. This is not Pearl Harbor. That's the thing. You really, truly can't predict these waves. If you're out there, you know that a lot of energy is moving through the water, and you can say, it's going to bring 1 to 3 feet, which is a huge amount of energy. But what if that focuses in a way that we can't predict or whatnot, or you just never know. And I think it just started to get into Pearl Harbor here. Look at that. See that spike right there? Is that part of the start right there? Could be. I had when I lived in Makiki there outside of Honolulu, or right between Honolulu and Waikiki, I knew my elevation was at 75 feet. I knew how the flood zones, I knew the tsunami evacuation stuff. So yeah, it's always good to know that stuff anywhere you live. My goodness, look at the trough on that bad boy right there. Whew. I mean, you almost dropped off. You're dropping off of close to 2 feet there. That's pretty impressive. That is tsunami wave signature. So yeah, again, I'll drive home that point. That is a lot of water being moved back and forth in a quick amount of time. Very dangerous currents there. Hopefully everybody take heed of those warnings. Good evening from Federal Way. Matthew Fabs in the house. Western Washington weather. Yeah, Midway had some pretty good stuff also. I can check. Let's go back and see what Midway checked in at. Click on Midway here. We'll plot the data. Yeah, you can see the waves coming in. And notice the initial wave wasn't the biggest. Looks like that wave was. We're still going right now. We're still oscillating pretty good here. This one went from almost -1 to, so what? We went up 1, 2, 3 feet almost. No, 3 feet, yeah. Maybe even a little more. So a lot of water moving around there. And then, of course, you get local forcing depending on where you are. So there are probably bigger waves in some areas too. So, yeah. 2,100 people in the chat. Not bad. Yeah, that's something I dread. I do not look forward to the day that, I know it's only like, what, a 10% chance in the next 50 years that the Cascadia quake will go, but my goodness, that would be bad news. You get a 9.0 or an 8.8 or something right off the Washington coast or Oregon coast. Ugh. Yeah, that's a good example right there. Rainy Potato says 1.5 tsunami hit where I live in the Wee Inlets. Water surged 20 feet into the woods and left seaweed 7 foot up in the trees, north coast, bottom of the Panhandle. Yeah, that's insane. Scary stuff. We got someone from Crescent City. Starting to show on Pearl Harbor now, is it? Kahului still going up. Wow, that's a big jump here. This is almost going 2 feet to crest. Wow. That's a pretty wicked wave there. Kona side here. Kauai High. We're going to Hilo. Nothing yet. Crescent City, nothing yet. We're not expecting anything Crescent City for about another 40 minutes. La Push, Washington. We are at low tide right now. Not expecting anything yet. And let's take a look. Let's see if there's any updates coming in here. We were at Hawaii. Actually, is that Hawaii Watch warning? They're brand new? I believe it is. This was 7 minutes ago. Let's see what they have to say. Tsunami warning continues for the state of Hawaii. 8.8, we know that. Honolulu. So, yeah, we were, okay. Midway 3.1. Haleiwa, 4 feet. That's a big wave. Strong wording. And you can see how fast, this wave action gets going there. Let's see, anything else have we changed here? Let's go down to San Diego. I want to see if this goes down. Yeah, let's just go out past Long Beach. So yeah, this is San Diego here. Tsunami waves 1 to 2 feet. Again, you don't think that's a big deal, but man, I'm telling you, when you get into the harbors and stuff, it's bad news. It's Huge currents. And they talk about that. Good. Strong currents and waves dangerous to persons in the water. All my California people out there. Arrival times, Newport Beach, 1:10 a.m. La Jolla, 1:10 a.m. Forecast tides, high tide at that time. That is not good. This is not good, folks. Hopefully everybody knows about this. I mean, that is bad news. At high tide, these first waves start to arrive. Low tide doesn't come until 7:14 a.m. So yeah, I don't like seeing that. And again, estimated time of arrival after midnight tonight, lasting into Wednesday, which is tomorrow. It makes sense. Okay, so let's go up the coast a little bit more, see what they have to say. We got San Francisco. And you can see this. They got the tsunami advisory, it goes all the way on through the, the bay here. So pay attention if you're along the coastal areas. Monterey, 12:15. San Francisco, 12:40 a.m. First wave may not be the largest. Remember that. And again, the currents and whatnot are really what I think is going to be the biggest problem with this action here. And let's go one more time, see if there's any updates. We'll go up to Eureka, California, which does include Crescent City. Tsunami warning is in effect for this area right here. Trinidad, Crescent City, Eureka. Tsunami warning in effect. Okay, let me try to catch up with the chat here. There's a bunch of chat coming in here. Let's see. Tillamook, Oregon in the house. Lots of boats went out to sea the last couple hours. That is very smart. Gold Beach, Oregon, probably arriving after 11:30 p.m. So it's coming up here pretty soon. Let's see if we start getting some tsunami wave action along the Washington, Oregon, California coastline. Yeah, Crescent City gets the wave amplified. It gets focused right there. Redondo Beach, you're probably going to be after midnight. Start expecting that. But if you stay off the immediate beach area, you're going to be fine. In the Puget Sound, there could be some currents and whatnot. We're not expecting damaging currents or anything like that as of right now. But still, it's just best to be on the safe side. You never know how this goes. You can sleep. Just get a little bit of elevation away from the coastal areas, and you can go to sleep. Or you can hang around and watch the live chat here and watch the wave action roll in with us. This came in a while ago. Okay, we're up to date on that. We're going to take a look. I'm going to close this out. That's just data. Yeah, look at the rocking and rolling there. Honolulu, check it out. Crest, trough coming. How far are we going to drop? Yeah, you can see in just 6 minutes, it drops a pretty notable amount. Here's Pearl Harbor. It looks like the tsunami has reached Pearl Harbor. Of course, this is, kind of in a protected harbor too, but that just enhances some of this current action there. Man, look at Kauai. So we're going on our third crest here. 1 trough, 2 crest, trough, 3 crest. Look at that, 2 feet. You're looking at 2 feet right there. Huge amounts of water moving in and out in a very short amount of time. And here's look at Midway. Look at it. See, this is what they're talking about here. You think, okay, it's getting better. We can go back towards the beach line here. Everything's getting better. Boom! All of a sudden, you're just jacked up again here. You increase the water level by 2 feet just out of nowhere again. I mean, that's pretty wild. Midway Islands. Look at that spike. Lulled you into a false sense of security and then just came and swept you off your feet right there. First wave at Kahului Harbor, 5 feet. Yeah, you should be fine in Everett. I don't know who was saying that, but yeah. But yeah, look at that, Midway. Lulled you to sleep, and all of a sudden, boom. Wow, what on earth is this nonsense? Kahului, look at Maui just getting, that's insane. You're looking at 3.5 feet there very quickly. 12 minutes, 3.5 foot increase in the sea level there. Big tsunami wave action going on. That's over a meter right there already in Kahului. This is Kona. Oh, we got this. A wave arrived here. Is that the start? Hilo, not yet. Probably wrapping around the Big Island as we speak right now. Don't be lulled into a false insecurity with 1 foot. A 1 foot rapid rise in the sea level is a lot of water moving around, and it can really damage boats and, docks and whatnot, slam boats into each other, and the surge in and out can be really damaging to things here. And it can still, if somebody's near the water, in the water, it could still sweep you away quite easily. A foot of water from a tsunami can start to float cars and move them. A meter, a yard, 3 feet. But yeah, what a wave there into Maui. Wow. Crescent City expecting first wave action here in about the next half an hour, 40 minutes. La Push, Washington at low tide right now. Nothing showing yet. Expecting it here in the next hour or so. And if you didn't know and you're just waking up, we had an 8.8 earthquake, the biggest earthquake on the planet in about the last 14 years. A lot of big aftershocks after. 6.9 was the highlight of that, 6.3. A lot of fives, like numerous fives, too many to count really. Still going on. Some good information there, the NOAA.gov about tsunamis. You can see this was from the 2011 Japan earthquake. Look at how it spread out its energy. And you can see some of this, how it focused towards the California coastline there. And you can see how this stretched out towards Hawaii and, nasty stuff. And if you guys remember the video that came out in the 2011, how it just absolutely, just ripped Japan apart. Did all the damage to the nuclear reactor and whatnot. Yeah, San Diego, watch out. I mean, a lot of water moving around here, folks. So let me try to find where I was here, National Weather Service. I'll go down to San Diego again, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. You might laugh at these wave heights of 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot. That's a lot of water moving around. A lot of water, folks. And when you're at high tide at 1 a.m. and you're at Newport Beach and the wave arrives at 1:10, high tide, 2 feet, that's a lot of water being moved. So dangerous currents, damaging to boats and docks and harbor and whatnot. I think in Olympia and Seattle, you should be fine. I mean, there could be some squirrely currents and whatnot going on out there. I don't want to completely tell somebody you're completely safe, but waves starting to hit Hilo, I hear. Let's check that out. We just checked this, you guys. That's an incredible, look at the trough. In 6 minutes, we dropped off from, 5.5 feet to less than 2. That's the biggest wave I think that we've seen yet. So this is Kahului Harbor on Maui. That is an insane fluctuation. Huge amounts of water moving in and out. That's a really significant wave. Impressive. So here we are on the Kona side. Definitely tsunami signature there as well. And now Hilo, the tsunami wave has arrived into Hilo Bay. Kuhio Bay. Hilo. One of the most notorious places for tsunami activity in the United States and the state of Hawaii. Okay, I'm going to have to put somebody in timeout there. Keep on task here. So Crescent City, California, not yet. Not yet, but about 11:50. That's about a half an hour away. This is mainly a coastal threat here, you guys. If you're inland and you got elevation, you're going to be just fine. But of course, I mean, there's a lot of fishermen. There's a lot of people that live in houseboats. There's a lot of people very close, waterways, harbors, inlets. And like we had people talking about here, you can have, you know, a 1 or 2 foot wave can surge up a lot more into individual areas. And you don't really truly know what these wave heights are going to be. And we've already seen that here. I mean, look at this. Look at this at Midway. This just absolutely lulled you to sleep. Look at this. Boom, 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 boom. And then we're just relaxing. It's like, okay, we're done. The waves have passed. Boom, another big crest spike. So you can catch off guard like that. Now, if we look in Maui, I mean, we're going through some huge fluctuations in the water level. Up towards 6 feet almost. Now we're below 2. -2. So, I mean, you almost had a fluctuation in 8 feet in 6 minutes. That is insanity. That is a huge wave. That is a big deal, folks. That's probably very damaging there on portions of Maui. I don't want to speculate too much, but that's no good. Santa Rosa, yeah. So it should be sometime after midnight, like 12:30, 1 o'clock. You're looking at something like that. I don't believe there's one on the south shore of Maui there. And here we are on Kona side. Definitely the tsunami signature is checking in. Hilo Bay, this will be a really interesting one because Hilo is really susceptible. The bay is very susceptible. I was just there 3 weeks ago here thinking about this tsunami, actually. There's a tsunami museum there in Hilo. And sure enough, the tsunami wave has entered Kuhio Bay there on the big island. Crescent City, nothing yet. La Push, Washington. Kind of interesting there. What's going on there? It's kind of interesting because the actual water level has been right in lockstep with the prediction there. So I don't know. Is that the initial stage of something coming? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not going to speculate on that too much. How a tsunami works. We went over that a little bit here. And if you're just joining here, so the tsunami alerts explained. You guys have probably heard a lot about this today. There were initially watches. Those were put to advisories, and then we upgraded some areas in Northern California to a warning. Hawaii went to a warning almost immediately, and that's starting to verify. And the Aleutian Islands there up in Alaska also dealing with the warning as well. And if you want to know how a tsunami works, basically you can see there's the earthquake, big uplift, displaces huge amounts of water, huge amounts of energy, and it just launches this across the ocean. So you can imagine if you're in your bathtub and all of a sudden you just lifted a bunch of water, and you can imagine that water just sloshing back and forth, big amounts of energy, starts to, come out of your bathtub and whatnot and washing your, your toys away or whatever you're doing in the bathtub there. But yeah, huge, these powerful waves just go ripping across the ocean at 600 miles per hour. They're long waves. They're not that detectable over the open ocean, but man, when these get towards the coastal areas, they bunch up and they can really wreak havoc along the coastal areas. So that is how a tsunami works. So good stuff there from weather.gov. Tsunami advisory is in effect for Washington State here, and they do mention this. I mean, you don't want to be lulled to sleep just because the wave is only 1 foot. It can still make dangerous currents, so heads up for that. And this, again, was from National Weather Service Anchorage. This is Adak Island tide gauge. You can see the tsunami waves have arrived. Atka, Nikolsky, and you're looking at St. Paul tide gauge here. So yeah, tsunami waves are ripping across the Pacific Ocean. Advisory is in effect. They mentioned this for the Los Angeles area. Time of arrival after midnight. Santa Barbara, you can see Oxnard, Long Beach, Catalina Island. Then the Honolulu alert. Again, I was kind of marveling at this because this has got to be absolute chaos in Waikiki. The highest concentration of hotels, I believe, on the planet. If not, it is one of it. And you can see they want people on the 4th floor or above. I don't know how they're going to do that because there are literally hundreds of hotels there. They're always packed. There's thousands of people. Where are you putting these people? I don't know. I'm glad I'm not in charge of that because that has got to be absolute insanity on Honolulu. In Honolulu, Waikiki, my goodness. And yeah, we've been checking here. The traffic doesn't look too bad in Honolulu. I mean, you got hours of heads up here, so hopefully everybody is in their safe spot. San Diego as well. The waves are supposed to arrive for Southern California around 1 a.m., but that correlates with high tide. And if we take a look again, you can see the warning there for Northern California, the warning for the Hawaiian Islands. It's been downgraded to an advisory for the Aleutian Islands there. And we've been watching for these updates that come in the text messages down here. Let's see if we got anything. I believe that was it. Oh, nope, we got another one that just updated here. Let's check this out really quickly. So what are we looking at here? So it talks about South America, Costa Rica, Polynesia, Hawaii, Japan, just all over the Pacific Ocean here between 1 and 3 meters. And yet that's no joke. 3 to 9 feet, that's a big deal. And you can even see, look at all the way down to Antarctica. Look how far these waves can travel. It's just amazing. Australia, Cook Islands, El Salvador, Fiji, Guatemala, Indonesia. So yeah, New Zealand, I mean, just a world away. Panama, Papua New Guinea, Philippines, yes. Yeah, Tonga, Wake Island, American Samoa, Guam. Tsunami waves are forecast to be less than, so there's about less than a foot there above tide level for China, Korea, Malaysia, Korea, Vietnam. And here we go, Honolulu. You can see this is tsunami wave signature here, folks. I'm going to zoom in on that again as it just refreshed, but you can see that is definitely tsunami wave action. That is Honolulu, and that is right there. Plot data, and there you go. That is definitely the tsunami action going. Pearl Harbor doesn't look, I mean, you kind of laugh at that. That's still a lot of water being moved around. Pearl Harbor is, you know, you're moving a bunch of water around. You can imagine what it's doing, dragging boats around and kind of pushing on docks and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it can cause damage. So don't laugh at the small wave heights there, because that's definitely tsunami signature that you see popping around there. And if you go to Kauai, we're now on 1, 2, 3 crests. We're down in the trough here, and look at this weird bouncing around, waves wrapping around the island, all kinds of crazy stuff out there. So yeah, pretty good water fluctuation there. If we look towards Midway, again, kind of lull you to sleep there. You can see big waves initially. It's like, okay, we're all done. Nope, we're not done. Another strong wave arrives. And this is Kahului. Biggest waves we've seen yet are here. Look at the fluctuation in the water level. We jumped up over 7 feet again in a very short amount of time. I mean, you're talking about probably about 10 minutes. Again, another huge fluctuation in the sea level with the big tsunami surges rolling in. Take a look, Kona side at the crest. Now we're on the way down a little bit there, and we look at Hilo, and we are still on the way up in the Hilo Bay. Now, Crescent City, nothing yet, but that's supposed to be changing here in the next half an hour or so. La Push, nothing yet. Yeah, I can imagine some people are, interior portions of the U.S., they don't have anything to worry about, but it does seem like a pretty big story on social media. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's a lot when they hit land and channels, for sure. Oh, Ron Dog is in the house. I see him moderating. Very nice. No, Everett, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine at Everett. I would not be worrying about this unless you're living in a houseboat or something and you get caught up in some of those currents and whatnot. But yeah, you're not going to have big. I wouldn't worry about that too much, unless you're near one of the sloughs or whatever however you pronounce that. Well, it depends on where you are. A 30-foot tsunami on one area, it can be different what a 1 to 9 foot tsunami would travel in a different location. It depends on the shape of your bay or the inlet and whatnot. So there's a lot that goes into that. $3,000 people in the chat. Not bad. So yeah, we're expecting these waves to move towards the Washington coast here. Let's go to Westport and just check this out. Let's do the plot data here. Nothing yet. We're okay right now, but these waves are going to be picking up here as we go. And I'm going to click on, let's do this. I'm going to do the tsunami advisory here, and we're going to take a look at some of the timing. You can see Tofino 11:30. So right now, the first wave action should be arriving at British Columbia. Oregon 11:35. La Push, Washington any minute now. Nia Bay 11:40. Again, we're not expecting huge damaging, inundating waves, but you can still get damage at the coastal areas. It's a lot of water moving around. Even a foot. A tsunami wave is a huge amount of water moving back and forth. Brookings, Oregon, 11:50. Westport, Washington, 11:50. Moclips, 11:50. Seaside, Oregon, 11:55. Newport, Oregon, 11:55. Port Angeles, 12:15. Port Townsend, 12:45. Bellingham, 1:10. And Tacoma, any kind of wave activity or any kind of surge or the current should start getting a little squirrely, maybe in some of the Puget Sound around 2 a.m. Olympia would be after that, but still, we're not expecting damage or anything like that in the Puget Sound. We're pretty sheltered in here. Somebody said they're seeing something that'll push now. I mean, it's about that time to arrive there, but let's click off of Westport and let's go up towards Nia Bay. It's hard to tell if that's a little something coming in there or not. But yeah, we're not going to worry about that too much. We'll wait. Give that some time. Honolulu, you can see the tsunami has started to hit Oahu. This is Pearl Harbor. The tsunami has started to make its way into the harbor here. I mean, fluctuations are going on. I'm not going to speculate on what kind of damage is going on as of right now. Here we are for Kauai. You can see pretty good wave action ongoing there. And Midway. We were watching this spike here just a few minutes ago. It kind of dropped back down. Now it's bouncing back up again. So you're going to see like it's basically somebody just, displaced a huge portion of the land there across the Northwest Pacific Ocean. And then that sends ripples through the rest of the Pacific Ocean. And it takes a long time to settle down. I mean, sometimes these waves bounce off. They bounce off underwater things and they come back and just all kinds of crazy stuff. They can bounce off coastal areas and bounce back across the Pacific Ocean again. They weaken a lot, but yeah, they do all kinds of crazy stuff. Port of Long Beach, they closed it. Okay. Nia Bay is showing it. Let's take a look at that actually. Actually, I want to show, let's look at Kahului, because Kahului has been just absolutely, this is pretty wild, folks. This is definitely the biggest wave surge we've seen, almost 8 feet. In 6 minutes, the sea level height changed 8 feet. That's insanity. And now look at it bouncing back up rather quickly, too. Yeah, again, don't want to speculate too much there, but you can clearly see what's going on here. This is this high tide, low tide, high tide, low tide, low tide, high tide, back and forth. And then, bam, look at the change in the sea level here. Huge amounts of water being moved. That is pretty exceptional. And this one is even higher than the last now. Water level 6.75 feet. We were just at negative 2.5. So what? That's over 9 feet. That's over 3 meters, folks. That's big time stuff. And Kona side, you can see the tsunami wave action is ongoing. Yeah, what happened at Hilo there? Have we not got an update in a bit there yet? It's been about 30 minutes, hasn't it? I hope that doesn't mean something sinister happened. Crescent City, we are waiting with bated breath. There's a tsunami warning for Crescent City, California, and I'm going to go towards that here really quick, see if there's any update. There's San Francisco, and here we go with Eureka. Tsunami warning is in effect. Anything special here? Expecting first wave 11:50. That's about 15 minutes away. We're going to go to Medford, Oregon. And I had some people asking about Oregon too. You can see Charleston, 11:45. Port Orford, 11:35. Brookings, 11:50. So this is the timing of first waves. News has been quiet. Yeah, it's strong currents and dangerous waves expected, folks. Portland, Oregon, tsunami advisory. Okay, I think there was something I was going to look at here, but I forgot. So let's just run through this one more time. Let's see what kind of updates we have. When did this one come out? So 25. This one just came out again, didn't it? Kahului, 4 feet, 8:25 p.m., 11 minutes ago. But yeah, some pretty strong wording there from Hawaii. $3,400 people in the chat. Thanks everybody for tuning in. If you're just tuning in, of course, we've been going over what a tsunami is. 600 miles per hour moving across the ocean. Long waves. They get to the coastal areas. You get much shallower water. These bunch up and they can create some pretty devastating impacts along the coastal areas. You can see how the earthquake will displace the water, sends that energy outward, just goes flying across the Pacific Ocean as fast or faster than a jet airplane. And there are tsunami advisories up and down the west coast of North America. Even with small waves, you are moving huge amounts of water, and these dangerous currents can create damage along these immediate coastline and some of the bays, some of the inlets. And you can see that the tsunami wave has been hitting portions of Alaska. It is flying across the Pacific Ocean, has been hitting many of the Hawaiian Islands. I think actually all of them have gotten some tsunami waves now. California is coming up. Washington, Oregon is coming up. Some of the first waves should be arriving towards the west coast of Canada as we speak. And again, kind of marveling at this. They want people on the 4th floor or higher. I don't know how they're going to do that in Waikiki, but yeah. And aside from that, they're being overly cautious. Obviously, I don't think you're going to see 40-foot inundation, but still, it could cause some problems. But I don't know how they would enact that. One of the highest concentrations of hotels in the world, and you're trying to put everybody at the 4th floor or above. Can't even imagine. So yeah, let's take a look here at the actual Guam. Let's see, American Samoa. Okay, we're going to look at Honolulu, Hawaii. So this is definitely, I mean, let me reset the zoom. You can clearly see what we've been doing here. There's high tide, low tide, high tide, low tide. The blue is predicted, and the red is the actual water level. So clearly tsunami wave action here ongoing here for Honolulu. This is Pearl Harbor. The tsunami has entered there. And again, don't laugh at these wave heights here, because imagine to change the water level in some of these inlets here. That's a lot of water moving in and out. That can create damage. That can cause problems for people. And then we look towards Kauai. You can see we were 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're back up again. 4 crests, 3 troughs, and the next crest is rolling in here. And then if I show you, you know, why you don't drop your guard in these things, this is midway. Lulled you to sleep, consistently went down, then all of a sudden, boom, it jacked back up right there again. So, yeah, and then Kahului has just been dealing with the biggest waves yet. I mean, you're looking at huge. Let me see, we've got the auto refresh going on here. That's what we saw last time as well. But yeah, you're looking at some huge fluctuations over 9 feet. So over 3 meters, biggest waves that we've seen yet. Probably, you know, I would think would be causing damage on some portions of Maui. Here's Kona side. This was updated at 24. That was 16 minutes ago. This is Hilo side. It's not updated for almost 35 minutes now, and I wonder why that is. I don't like that because Hilo is a very tsunami susceptible area. This bay really focuses wave action here. Huge damaging tsunamis have hit this place prior. There's a tsunami museum there because it's so prevalent. They made sure that people didn't rebuild in some of the tsunami zones there where they would get inundated. And yeah, so I hope that is not something nefarious going on there. I was out there 3 weeks ago and we went around walking out there by Coconut Island and some of these little nice beaches out there and whatnot. So yeah, hopefully all is okay there. I don't know. I don't like to see that, though. It's kind of interesting that we haven't gotten an update there in some time because you can absolutely see that the tsunami wave did arrive there for Hilo. Now we go to Crescent City. When was our last update here? We are looking at 30, I guess 24. So it hasn't updated here for about 17 minutes, but nothing for Crescent City just yet. And actually, we're going to go up the coastline a little bit here. How far up the coast can we get? Doesn't have anything for Canada here, huh? So let's take a look here at Nia Bay. I don't know that that's anything associated with the tsunami. Let's go down a little bit further to La Push, Washington. Plot data. Don't see anything yet. Got a little squirrely there, but not yet. The wave is supposed to be arriving here at any time, or waves, I should say. Let's go to Westport. Nothing yet. Expecting a little bit later here at this. So we haven't seen anything big yet on the Washington coast. But again, you don't need big waves to create some pretty wicked damage with all this activity. Pearl Harbor, Kauai, Midway, Kahului. Yeah, pretty striking change there. I mean, you can see just how nice and gentle the tides have been here over the last day or two. Wild. Coconut Island parking lot is flooded. Somebody is saying that. 99,000 subscribers. Yeah, thanks for everybody. Maybe I'll announce the winner of the weather station tonight. If we get 100,000 subscribers on the channel, I will give away a weather station tonight. Looking at Hilo Yacht Club cam right now. Everything looks okay. That's good. Catching up on some of the chat here. It's a lot of these webcams are dark right now, so it's a little bit tough there. Here we go. Look at the Kona side. Pretty good drop there with that wave action. You don't need to be a marine biologist to take a look at these tides and know that we got tsunami wave action right there. Boom, boom. Sorry, I can't help myself with my Seinfeld humor sometimes. Yeah, still no update from Kohio Bay there in Hilo there for Hilo. I know we're not expecting wave action here until probably after 1 p.m. across a lot of Southern California. Nia Bay, Washington. Let's update that. Get a little squirrely there, but not going to worry about that yet. And again, if you're just joining, here's some of the tsunami advisory here for the Washington, Oregon, California, British Columbia coastline. Tofino right now, tsunami start times was about 15 minutes ago. Some portions of Oregon, Port Orford, 11:35, La Push, Washington, 11:35, Nia Bay, 11:40, Brookings, Oregon, 11:50. And one of the big problems is potentially California, Crescent City, was about 11:55. Expecting the biggest waves, Crescent City. And let's do, yeah, if you're just joining, you just woke up, you worked graveyard last night or something. 8.8 earthquake, biggest earthquake in the last 15 years, 14 years on planet Earth. And you can see all the subsequent aftershocks, 6.9, 6.3, and too many 5.8, 5.5, 5.7, 5.5, 5.6, 5.7, 5.3. Too many 5 plus magnitude aftershocks to count. Looks like we even had an earthquake there. What was this one? 2.6 just off the Big Island. But yeah, that's what's been going on today. Destructive waves across portions of Russia. I know there was some, I think there was some damage in Japan. And a lot of the damage we're probably going to not know about until tomorrow as well. Good stuff there for tsunami general information. If you go to noaa.gov, all kinds of good stuff there. And this is just a good, again, if you live along the west coast of North America and Hawaii, if nothing else, this is a really, really good drill because you don't want to be caught unprepared when the big subduction zone earthquake goes off on the Washington coastline. You need to know your tsunami evacuation routes. What are you going to do? And if you are so inclined and you live along the Washington coastline, you might want to press your local authorities to get those big structures out there where you can just get to them. You can walk to them in 5 to 10 minutes from your location on the Oregon or Washington coast, California coast, and you can just get up on that platform and you can ride out the tsunami here. Because trust me, you do not want to be trying to get out on some of those narrow coastal roads with the tsunami bearing down. When a 9.0 earthquake goes off the coastline, you do not want to be messing around with that. And you don't want to be trying to doing that on the fly. So, yeah. And here's another thing with tsunami alerts explain. The differences. Initially, a distant earthquake has occurred. Tsunami is possible. They're going to put out a watch. Are they going to upgrade that to a warning? Maybe. An advisory? Maybe. Or if they figure, hey, this probably didn't put out any tsunami waves and we're just going to drop it, then they will just drop it. But an advisory is not necessarily a downgrade from a watch. It just, it just means what it means. Strong currents and waves may be dangerous to those in or very near the water. Stay out of the water and away from the beaches. And of course, a warning is the highest level, and that's what Hawaii is under right now, and Crescent City and portions of Northern California. Tsunami is happening or about to happen. Dangerous coastal flooding. Powerful currents are possible. Move to high ground or further inland immediately. And again, how a tsunami works. All kinds of good stuff. Weather.gov that explains this. You can see a big displacement there of the crust. Sends huge amounts of energy into the ocean. You get these long waves traveling as fast as 600 miles per hour. And then they get towards the coastline. They bunch up and they build up and they come and create all kinds of havoc there on the coastline. And yeah, tsunami advisory. Don't be fooled by these small wave heights. You're still displacing huge amounts of water. You think at how much water you're pushing around when you increase the ocean's level by a foot, even along the Washington coast. If that happens, that's a lot of wave action. And so that's a lot of current. And that can create a lot of damage there and can sweep you off your feet. Just a foot of tsunami water will start to move cars. So yeah, keep that in mind as well. And we talked about this earlier, Adak Island tide gauge here. You can see the tsunami waves arriving. There's Atka, and we got Nikolsky as well, and St. Paul tide gauge also. And just a reminder here that generally after midnight tonight is when it's supposed to occur here for Southern California. You can see it does include Long Beach, Oxnard, Santa Barbara. Well, not Oxnard, the city, but coastal areas very close by. You know what I mean. Honolulu alert, again, the tsunami warning, a lot of strong wording there. We talked about this in several different times. They want everybody to be above the 4th floor. Good luck on Waikiki trying to make that happen. I'm not jealous of those people trying to deal with that. Looks like the traffic isn't too bad out there across Honolulu. So hopefully everybody is in their safe place. Eleanor, thanks for the update there. Yeah, so let's check the tide gauges again here. Let me update this just to make sure if we got any new warnings or advisories out. Looks like nothing has changed there. So there is Honolulu, Hawaii. You can see that tsunami action back and forth. Hopefully this is not doing too much damage. But again, that's a lot of water being moved around at a quick pace. Pearl Harbor, there has been some tsunami action infiltrating into the harbor there. Kauai, look, the trough on this one is pretty good as well, so we drop back down. Kind of interesting, up, down, down. Didn't go up too much, but then another big trough there coming, so maybe that means that we're going to fill that back in and bring another decent wave there. Midway, we've been watching this one. You can kind of see how the waves initially started off pretty big, lulled you to sleep there, and then boom, hit you with another wave. That's the danger of the tsunamis. That's what actually killed people in 1964. A lot of looky-loos finally came down to the water. The Crescent City tsunami, the waves were dying back, and then some of the biggest waves came near the end of the event and like killed, what, a dozen people. So yeah, not good. Kahului has been the site of the most impressive wave action yet, though. You can see that it went from basically negative 2.5 to almost 7 feet. That's over 3 meters in a very short amount of time. A lot of water moving in and out. Hopefully not causing huge amounts of damage. Who knows? But yeah, I guess we'll probably find out in the morning. This is on the Kona side. You see you've got some pretty good wave action ongoing there. Definitely, obviously, tsunami wave signature. I don't know what is going on here, but looks like some more data trying to come back here from Hilo. Hopefully the tsunami is not going to be focused at Hilo like it has been in the past. Yes, 1 meter is about 3 feet. Oh, it's been a long day. I am tired right now. So Crescent City should be getting their first wave action here pretty darn right quick. Don't see anything yet. Maybe this is the start of it. Who knows? Got some people in Crescent City in the house. Over 3,500 people in the chat. Thanks everybody for joining. Thanks for all the kind words, all the super chats. Much appreciated. I don't know what we are at subscriber wise, but I'm going to do this really quick and we're going to go to the channel. I just want to check it out really fast. 99,194 subscribers. Yeah, I wonder if we have 800 people in the chat right now that have not subscribed. Maybe we can hit 100,000 tonight. Wouldn't that be something? Yeah, we're up over 900 subscribers on the day. Not bad. Hopefully you guys enjoy the channel. I should probably go upstairs and grab some water really quickly. Paco Pete, Pacific Northwest. Thanks for all the great work. Thank you very much for your generosity. You have to stay up all night. That's your duty. I am so tired right now. I can barely even stand it. My eyes are about to close. But this is pretty interesting, I got to admit. Look at the fluctuations, man. You didn't get the big crest, but then it just dropped, and now it's just bouncing back. It's so interesting to see how this energy just moves through the water across the ocean. Kahului didn't crest big with that next one either. Now they're on the way back down. Long Beach should be coming up here pretty quickly as well. So we're looking at Long Beach, Washington, 11:45. First waves may be starting to come now. But again, we are not expecting, we don't have a tsunami warning here. I think the biggest threat, of course, is going to be currents. Water movement in and out of harbors and bays and inlets and things like that. I don't expect big inundation of large areas or anything like that. That's not what is being forecast. You can see they even put Tacoma, Washington on there, 2 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So you got a couple hours there if you want to try to kind of pick out any kind of current motion or anything like that from the tsunami. I don't know that that would be possible, but who knows? All hype, just normal tides. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Yeah, pretty interesting that you can noticeably see this tsunami wave action rolling in and out. And you can see pretty good wave action going on here. Looks like we got a 2-foot drop there. Oh, wow. Okay, so Hilo is back online here, and that is a big drop. That is not good. So you're looking at what, a 1, 2, I mean, that's over 2 feet drop in 6 minutes. So yeah, Hilo's starting to get rocking here as well. Notorious for very intense tsunami action. Los Angeles, yes, probably sometime around 1 a.m. And again, the main threat is from probably currents in and out of harbors and bays, inlets. Here's Crescent City. First wave should be arriving any time now. Don't see it yet. Looks like ops normal for now. Nia Bay, Washington. Don't see anything yet. Yeah, I mean, it's easy for people to get out of the way. The problem is that a lot of people have interest at the coastline there, and it's a pain having to take your boat out in the middle of the night to try to keep yourself safe out of the big currents that can hit some of the harbors and whatnot. So it's kind of a pain there. Not everybody can afford to do that. Maybe some people they're not around, or they don't have access to get down there. They didn't have time to get down there and try to, and it's expensive to fix boats, and a lot of fishermen depend on it. It can impact a lot of stuff like food. Hilo is getting rocked. 3,600 people in the chat. I think the bomb cyclone, we had about 3,700 people. We might set a record for how many people we have in a live stream at one time. So I got Crescent City, I got Nia Bay going on here. Bellingham, 1:10 a.m. They said generally wave heights less than 1 foot, but still can make some tricky currents out there, so be careful. What will it do to Crescent City? Well, Crescent City is supposed to be some of the bigger wave action here. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to try to stay online until I can see what's going on with Crescent City. I want to see what the first wave action does there. Kim Nord, thank you very much for the generosity. I don't know. Is there any reliable way to predict earthquakes? I wish I could. I would love to know when the big Cascadia quake is coming. Hilo is getting waves, yes. This is Midway Islands. Look at that tsunami wave signature. Multiple waves. Kahului, Maui, biggest waves yet. Boom. Over a meter, 9 feet plus, in and out. Think of what it takes to move 9 feet of water in and out over the tide gauge. Huge amounts of motion. Kona side, definitely tsunami signature. Hilo, we lost the data for a little bit, but it's back, and you can see right now we're currently in the trough. Gabriel Dickman, thank you very much for your generosity. Vi Halen, Christopher, CNAV, thank you very much. Whew. Just looking around, my eyes are tired. The thing about the Cascadia quake, so here's a thing that I find a lot of people don't know. So we'll go to Crescent City here. If you are in Washington or Oregon or Vancouver Island or California or anywhere that you might feel the Cascadia earthquake, if you feel strong shaking and it goes on beyond 3 minutes, you're looking at a really big earthquake. That's a really good indicator. The really big ones, like the Good Friday quake and some of the ones in South America and Japan and Sumatra, the shaking lasts for like 3, 4, or even a little bit longer minutes. So if you feel just the nasty ground shaking for 4 minutes, that means that's the big one. So I know that's a real long shot to happen in any of our lifetimes, but it happens pretty regularly over a period of every few hundred years. So, you know, it's just something to keep in the back of your mind. And on top of that, probably the much more dangerous quake to places like the Puget Sound is like the Seattle fault. I know there's other faults, very shallow faults, that it would only take like a 6.8, 6.7. A 7.0 earthquake on the Seattle fault would be absolutely catastrophic to the region. And you really need to have ways where you're not dependent on other people for a few days. If a quake like that were to hit, it would just absolutely be catastrophic. The good news is it's probably not as, from what I understand, it's not as regular as the Cascadia quake. I think the last one happened close to 1,000 years ago. So odds are we won't see something like that. But again, it could happen in 5 minutes. It could happen in 1,000 years. Who knows? Sumatra strong shaking over 9 minutes. That's insane. That's just incredible. 7 minutes, 9.0. Yeah, when you get up over 4 minutes, you know you're dealing with the big one. All right, let's do ADAC here really quick. Yeah, I mean, you can see tsunami's been going on for 3. We're going on 5 hours now for ADAC of rapid water fluctuations. And you can imagine if you had a boat and the water's fluctuating 5, 6 feet in 6 minutes, what does that do? Imagine the currents that have to occur going in and out past the docks and things like that, or into inlets and back and forth. Extremely damaging, extremely disruptive. You're just like, oh, it's just a 4-foot wave. What's the deal? This is not just a breaking wave on the beach where you just see a curl. And it's like, oh, look at that 6-foot wave out there. It's like, this is a major rise in the sea level of the ocean. Tsunami waves are not the same as a beach wave on just a normal day when you're at the beach. Let's take a look at Atka. As you can see, the tsunami waves have been ongoing for hours now. Nikolsky, let's take a look here. We'll plot the data. You can clearly see the tsunami wave activity there as well. Okay, let's take a look at this Guam advisory here to see what's going on. So I don't see that they updated here. I thought that it was supposed to be between 1 and 3 feet. There is a threat to Guam, but you're looking at, fluctuations, strong ocean currents. It could be a hazard along beaches and harbors and coastal water. So stay away from those areas. That's the big thing. If you have loved ones and you're in contact with them, if you're away from those areas, you're going to be okay. Well, that's a good thing, because I don't want to see a 9.0 megathrust earthquake anywhere near me. That Well, a lot of these webcams you're not going to see. I mean, you're going to, I don't know, just on the open beach, it's not the same thing as if you're in a harbor or an inlet. 3,600 people in the chat right now. $99,250. It's going up pretty fast. This is pretty insane. 99,324. Wow. Nice job, people. Look at you guys. You guys are killing it. Could we hit 100,000 tonight? I'm going to get so tired. I'm going to start acting goofy here in a little while. But yeah, that's pretty impressive. We're up over 1,000 subscribers today. All right, let's check things out a little bit more here. Let's scroll through some of the data. Here, did they mention Guam in here? Yeah, Guam, I mean, small wave activity there. Generally about 1 to 3 feet above the tide level, which again, still can be quite disruptive. Honolulu, wow, look at the trough on this guy here. So if you're out there, you probably see the water receding some. You're looking at, close to 3 feet difference than you were just a little while ago, just in the sea height. And again, the blue line is what we would expect. The red line is what is actually occurring. So again, you can clearly see the tsunami wave signal there for Honolulu. Pearl Harbor, it's there. And again, you might laugh. It's like, oh, it's a half a foot. What's the big deal? But again, when you look at Pearl Harbor, think of what you have to do to move this water level up and down, even 6 inches. That's a lot of current action, can create damage. Kauai, obvious signal there. Midway Islands, tsunami's been going on for what, 3 hours now? Kahului, still getting rapid fluctuations. Tsunami's been going on for well over an hour. Kona side, nice crest, back down into a trough, bouncing around quite a bit. What's going on in Hilo? What is this? Sharp water fluctuations there. That would be a trip to see. Nikolsky, Nia Bay, still nothing showing up for Nia Bay yet. I mean, maybe we'll get away with just very minimal wave action here along the Washington coast. Who knows how this is going to unfold? I'm going to duplicate that. Yeah, there was big time damage in Russia. I see somebody talking about that. You were walking on 4-foot stilts during drywall in a new house during the Nisqually earthquake. That must have been rocking and rolling. And this may be tsunami signal here. I don't know. Because we're not expecting the big fluctuations like they get in Hawaii here. But Crescent City maybe is. And I don't see anything yet. 11:55 was the time of the first wave action, so we should be there pretty quick. Wave dynamics, indeed. Yeah, you get to see it in a very visually pleasing way. Crescent City, yes, still quiet. And that is not a bad thing because you're expecting some pretty robust wave action here. Taking a look at Southeast Alaska. So let's do this. I saw somebody mention Sitka, so let's see. What is this? Elfin Cove? Nothing yet. KW, thank you very much. Thanks for doing this. Hot air rises. Fart coin. Interesting. 3,700 people watching. This may be the biggest live stream I've ever had. It's right around what the bomb cyclone was getting right now. You guys are killing it. Look at that. Subscriber count is just ramping up here. All right, let's see if there's any updates here. We are on Hawaii Warning Advisory Watch number 8. Non-USA Canada Pacific Threat number 7. Alaska, BC, U.S. West Coast Warning Advisory Watch number 7. So let's update that and see if there's anything new. Nothing yet. If you're just joining, we have Hawaii is under tsunami warning. We have tsunami warning for Crescent City, portions of Northern California. We have tsunami advisories up and down the West Coast. And we had an absolute beast of an earthquake, an 8.8 just off of Russia here, northwest Pacific Ocean, and it's spreading tsunami waves across Pacific Ocean. Quite a bit of wave action in Hawaii. I'm going to close these data links out for now. You can clearly see, for example, the data that Honolulu has been having. The blue line is the expected water level. The red line following along quite nicely, like good dog. And then all of a sudden, the tsunami wave arrives. And you can see the rapid water fluctuations. If we take a look at Kauai, same thing here. The tsunami's been going on for almost 2 hours now. Midway Islands, back and forth. Kind of lulled us to sleep there for a bit. Then we had a bit crest. Looks like it's calming down a little bit here again. Kahului has had some of the biggest wave height fluctuations, over 9 feet. See, if you think about that, how you're raising the tide level there by 9+ feet. That is a lot of water moving back and forth. Kona side. And here we go with Hilo. Water sloshing back and forth in and out of the bay. Yeah, sorry, I got to pick up on I got to watch the chat. Krista Slovic, thank you very much for the generosity. I don't know how to say thank you to the super chat sticker, but thank you very much. Yeah, Eureka, California. I believe Eureka was under the tsunami warning as well. Let me just double check that here really quick. Crescent City, Eureka. Yes, you are under the tsunami warning. Man, my eyes are so tired. Yeah, thanks guys for the kind words. It's been fun tonight. I'm still amazed at how fast the subscriber count is going up here. It doesn't makes me not want to leave. We might hit 100,000 tonight. Yeah, that makes sense. Looks like somebody had mentioned the buoys. It looks like it's still about an hour away from the Pacific Northwest. Although the waves were timed to be here starting anytime now. But yeah, it should be dissipating as it's on its way here. I mean, hopefully we're not going to get big waves along the coastal areas here in Washington State. I would be very careful with that messaging. This is Kauai. The tsunami wave is not over there. You can see the waves are back and forth. Been going on for a couple hours. You are still getting huge water fluctuations. This is on the east side here of Kauai. Be careful with that messaging, por favor. Los Angeles would be after midnight. But again, you're not expecting huge waves. We're talking about the immediate coastal areas. You're talking about perhaps boat damage, dock damage, things like that, strong currents. Remember 2011, some areas in California were hit relatively hard. The Beastie Boys reference by Whiskey Jack, nice. Well, the beginning of the waves to Kauai were they said about 7:17. They actually hit Kauai at about 7:18. It was pretty darn right close. The San Juans, you're expecting waves generally under 1 foot. But when you say tsunami wave, don't just think of a wave that's 1 foot. You're in by a foot. That's a lot of water motion. Even 1 foot can create damage. Should I try to go get a glass of water here really quick? I think I might have to. I'm about to parch myself out here. I will be right back. I'm going to grab some water. Okay, we're back here. Oh, we have the highest watching count now. It took me to leave to get that. There's Honolulu, Hawaii. So yeah, tsunami waves are not done, folks. Do not let your guard down. They are actively hitting the Hawaiian Islands as we speak. Here's Pearl Harbor. We're getting fluctuations here, so be careful out there. You think to move the water level in an inlet area like this, you're bringing a whole bunch of water back and forth. There's Hickam right there, so be careful out there. Kauai, tsunami waves are still ongoing, big water fluctuations. Midway Islands, still ongoing. I mean, it's been ongoing here for over 3 hours now. Kauai's had some big water fluctuations as well. Still ongoing tsunami wave action. Kona side, Big Island, Hilo. Look at this. We spiked again. That's over 3.5 feet with this latest surge of water back into the bay. Checking out some of the chat here, sorry. So, okay, yeah, good question. So the blue line is the prediction of the water level. This is what we expect the water level to be. And if I reset the zoom, you can see how the water level is very close to what the tides were showing and what the prediction was. Then you can see when the tsunami waves have arrived to Hilo there. And if I back out, for example, Kauai, and I reset the zoom, you can see how it follows nicely along, no big deal. Then all of a sudden, boom, tsunami waves start to hit. Hopefully that makes sense. There's Nikolsky up in Alaska. Nia Bay, Washington here, still no sign yet. Crescent City, where we have a tsunami warning in effect right now. Still no sign of that wave action yet. They had earliest waves between about 11:55, so we're about 26 minutes late right now. Do not be scared. If you are away from the main beach areas, you will be just fine. I'm mostly concerned about looky-loo people that are like in certain areas, like on places in Hawaii or maybe Crescent City, things like that. Or I'm worried about fishermen with boats, damage, harbors, a lot of water moving in and out of the bays, stuff like that. But people, if you are in a city and you have any kind of elevation at all, and you're away from the water, you're going to be just fine. Oh, you can make a euro. Nice. This is tidesandcurrents.noaa.gov. This is up here towards Southeast Alaska. Looks like nothing going on there as of right now. And if you just joined us, you just woke up, maybe you're just a graveyard worker and you're just heading off to work watching the live stream or something, we had an 8.8 earthquake. Kamchatka Peninsula. Numerous aftershocks, and this earthquake sent a tremendous wave across the Pacific Ocean, multiple waves, and they've been hitting the Hawaiian Islands, they've been hitting Midway, Japan, Russia, the Aleutian Islands. We have not seen wave action showing up on the west coast of North America yet. Supposed to be arriving any time here. We have seen some pretty significant tsunami wave action there across the state of Hawaii. Oh, goodness. Sorry, I'm yawning here a little bit. Checking out the live stream, seeing if we can get up to 100,000 tonight. I don't know if I'm going to make it, though. I'll probably give it another 15 minutes. If no waves show up at Crescent City, I might have to call it a night, because I got to wake up and I got to do my briefings again tomorrow. But yeah, we got a lot of people click and subscribe. Thanks very much. You guys are killing it here. Getting close to 100,000 subscribers. There's Kauai. There's Midway Islands. There's Kahului. Huge water fluctuations in Kahului Harbor. This is on Kona side, Big Island. And this is for Hilo. You can see this last change. I mean, you're looking at what? You're almost looking at 3 feet. That's almost a meter, just kind of... That's a big rise. I mean, you can imagine that if you're 6 feet tall, that's half of you. Just all of a sudden, within minutes, all of a sudden this sea level basically rises that fast. You can imagine all the water and the movement of the water to get that kind of rise. And yeah, there's still a tsunami warning in effect here for Northern California. We got advisories up and down the coastline. And you see what's going on here now, because we have some of these tsunami forecasts here. We're for about 11:35, 11:45, 11:50. We're now at 12:25, and we are not seeing... Actually, I'm going to drop back down to the Oregon coast, but we have not seen that wave action just yet. Let's do Port Orford. I mean, is that little spike something? I don't know, but we haven't seen anything there yet. And I'm going to duplicate that. We're going to crawl up the coast a little bit more. Charleston, Oregon. Don't see any sign of the waves yet. Let's go a little bit further north. Cape Disappointment. Anything going on at Cape D? Nothing yet. Let's go all the way up to Vaguely Sober. Thank you for the generosity. Let's do Westport. Yeah. Santa Cruz should be after midnight. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, and you might wonder how that wave could get here so fast. But they travel over 500 miles per hour across the ocean. Okay, HNL showing footage from the Hilo surge. Nice. Okay, let's take a look at that. Goodness, look at how fast the water moves back out of the bay there in Hilo. Impressive. So we had a 3 foot over, we had a 1 meter drop in what, 6 minutes? Wow, impressive. So yeah, you can see nice normal day, and then all of a sudden a tsunami shows up to crash the party. Nothing for San Diego yet. Not expecting that till after 1 a.m. for San Diego. Yeah, exactly. Chris makes a good point. 1 cubic yard of seawater weighs approximately 1,700 pounds. Think about how many cubic yards of water to raise sea level at 3 feet over a large area. Yeah, that's big time. Parking lot in Big Island is now flooded. Let's see if we got any more updates here. This is tsunami.gov. Hawaiian Islands warning, warning Northern California, advisory up the west coast of North America. Nothing for Southeast Alaska or for Anchorage or for Kodiak Island, anything like that. You will be safe in Oklahoma City. Yeah, the waves still may well come. I mean, it's just taking its sweet time here. Pearl Harbor, Kauai, Midway, Kahului. Coming up on another trough there. You can see Big Island, we were at high tide right when it started. Now we're on the way down a bit here. So that's going to help a little ways. And there we go. I think we're over a 3 foot drop on this last trough. You will be safe in Miami. Whew, this is getting a little painful here. I don't know if I'm going to make it. Crescent City, still nothing, huh? It's got 10 more minutes, and I'm going to have to check out here, folks. Whew. We're up over 96, 99.6. You think Dallas Raines changed his last name to Raines and it was something else originally? Thanks for the generosity. Yeah, I think I woke up at like 6 this morning too. Anyway. Yeah, so, and remember, just a reminder here, just because you see 1 foot or less waves does not mean these currents are not going to be strong. It takes a lot of water to make the sea level rise 1 foot, and it happens pretty quickly. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. This is not like a 1 foot wave that just breaks on a nice, calm day at the beach. This is basically a sea level rise in a very short amount of time. Tsunami warning for the entire Hawaiian Islands is still ongoing. I was looking at some of the traffic out there. It doesn't look too bad. Hopefully everybody found their safe spot. I'm sure there's always going to be some looky-loos at the coastal areas. Kind of like what I would probably be doing if I was at the Hawaiian Islands right now. Got some fire danger coming up tomorrow too across the Pacific Northwest. Red flag warnings are going to be in effect. And that's no doubt going to be due to some of that abundant lightning and isolated dry thunderstorm activity for tomorrow. Look at that. Gust to 50 miles per hour with some of these winds. Just wild stuff across the Cascades. Get a lightning strike in the trees and just start pumping those winds. Speaking of which, let's take a look at this real quick because I took some time lapse of this fire here across Washington State. Look at that. It's still burning right now. Let's do the last 6 frames here. You can see the fire burning on the GOES 18 satellite imagery. Of course, every infrared satellite imagery, what is that? That's just picking up temperature. It picks up the cold cloud tops, so it can also see things like extreme heat at the surface. Of course, in this case, forest fire. Yeah, I'm hoping that we don't see much damage. There's nothing going on right now that just makes you think there's something catastrophic going on. Let's just kind of hope that that's not the case. Hawaiian Islands, we still have tsunami warning in effect for the entire state. Tsunami advisory still in effect here. Bay Area, Eureka, tsunami warning for Crescent City. Let's see, 99.629. Los Angeles advisory after midnight. We're expecting probably closer to 1 a.m. Same thing for Southern California, San Diego, Newport Beach, La Jolla, 1:10 a.m. So yeah. And again, it's high tide is about 1 a.m. So, you know, it could be problematic for people that are in ports, harbors, inlets. Matt Best, thank you for the generosity, sir. Yeah, I'm going to sleep good tonight. Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, we've been breaking down the waves together. A lot of good conversation in here. I know there's people that are a little bit afraid, but this is this is a really good drill and a really good reminder of the threats we face along the west coast of North America and the Hawaiian Islands and up in Alaska. We have the potential for humongous earthquakes, some of the biggest on the planet right here in the Pacific Northwest. And sometimes you just need these reminders. So hopefully not a lot of people are going to have a lot of damage, from this event, but it's just a good reminder of what to be prepared for. Honolulu, tsunami waves continue. Hopefully there's no messaging that the tsunami is over. There's still big water fluctuations ongoing. Pearl Harbor, been much smaller, but still you're moving water in and out of the harbor there pretty quickly, back and forth. Kauai, tsunami waves continue. Thank you for the generosity, Shelby. Okay, we're getting to Crescent City here in a moment. Maui still bringing that water in and out of the harbor. Kona side, Hilo, back and forth, rapid fluctuations, a lot of water, big time current action. The good thing is about these tsunamis is that you have big lead up time. So hopefully everybody gets their boat out of the way. I don't know, you bring it out to the ocean, maybe you spend a night out in the open ocean instead of having your boat being thrashed about with the big water fluctuations. Nia Bay, don't see anything yet. Crescent City still not showing anything, huh? I don't know what to make of this. Granted, I'm not a tsunami expert or anything like that, but we have not seen this, and it was supposed to be here about 11:55 or so. I'm extremely tired. Thanks for asking. I'm like about to lose it here. I almost cannot literally keep my eyes open right now. I'll probably get it in the live stream here in about 3 minutes, though. If Crescent City doesn't show anything, I got to end the live stream because I got to get some sleep. The thing is, I think we'd probably get 100,000 a night if I could somehow stay awake, but I just don't know that I can do it. I actually had some caffeine today, but that was a rarity, so maybe that's what's helping me even stay up this late. Oh, what is this? What is this? It's here. It's reached the West Coast. We got it. Click thumbs up, subscribe. The tsunami has hit Port Orford. There we go. There's the crest. Let's see how far down the trough goes. No, I don't have a typical 9-to-5 job. I usually work from about 2 to about midnight at Alaska Airlines when I'm working. I don't work tomorrow, thank goodness. I was going to go out and live stream. And of course, I got to do my videos in the morning. There it is, Port Orford. We have checked in with tsunami wave activity. And look, Charleston, Oregon. There it goes. It's happening. Cape Disappointment. Is that a little spike there? Well, we won't call it that yet. Westport. Don't see it yet. But yeah, Port Orford. So it was almost an hour late, but it did arrive. I am a flight controller for Alaska Airlines. So I'm basically like a pilot on the ground. There's Westport. Okay, we'll do La Push. Somebody wants to do La Push. Let's do it. Oh, there it is. La Push. What time did this wave start approximately? 12:12. Not too bad. I mean, what was it supposed to get here? 11:30 or something like that. And I mean, that's not really that bad. That you're getting close to just under a foot there with the water level. It's still a lot of water. 5 memberships. Thank you very much, KW. Donation and gifting memberships. Thank you very much. It traveled 5,000 kilometers in 8 hours. What an impressive wave speed. Imagine that thing just racing across the Pacific. That would be so cool to see. Yes, I am a drone pilot. I'm a licensed drone pilot, Part 107. Yeah, the wave has reached the west coast. How am I supposed to go to sleep now? Let's check out Nia Bay. I don't know. Is this some kind of... Look, it's like it got a little bit squirrely there. Just Part 107 is drone pilot. It's commercial. You're supposed to be Part 107 licensed if you want to sell footage. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's go to Hilo, still kind of rocking and rolling a bit there. Nikolsky, Nia Bay, don't see it yet. Crescent City, not quite there, but I have it's probably coming here in the next 5-10 minutes. If it hit Port Orford, it's coming to Crescent City probably within the next 10 minutes. Pacific Northwest weather lover in the house. It has not hit Monterey Bay yet. Nope. Next hour or so, I think. Reading some of the chat here. Oh, we're all dark on these webcams I'm looking at. Plus, I don't want to get in trouble showing them yet. I got to figure something out with that, but. Oh, what is this? Here we go. Crescent City. Quick half-a-foot rise there. Aircraft dispatcher, flight controller. I talk to the pilots. I plan their flight routes. I tell them about the weather en route. I tell them about thunderstorms en route. I give them new routes if weather is bad. My job is to know what the weather is like at all the airports that they potentially could go to. Destination airports, alternate airports. I plan fuel. I give them extra fuel based on traffic and weather. All kinds of crazy stuff. Like if you're landing on a snow-covered runway, I'm doing that calculation. If snow is falling, you're de-icing, things like that. That's all stuff I'm involved with. Very fun job. It helps me a lot with this too. But yeah, Crescent City, tsunami activity has arrived. Look at Port Orford, rapid rise and then fall. So about 2.7, 3 point. So we went up over half a foot there and came back down. Charleston, Oregon, something similar. Still nothing at Cape. No, Cape D. I think that's something hitting Cape Disappointment right there. That's probably it. West, yeah, you can see the little tiny spike crawling off there a little bit. That's very interesting, if nothing else. I mean, something else that was pretty fun too. Remember when the Hunga Tonga went off a couple years ago? On my weather station here, I recorded the pressure wave that traveled around the world. It traveled around the world I recorded the pressure wave data 4 different times. The pressure wave went around the world at least 4 times. Crumbs Crap. Now that is a name. Thank you for the generosity. I must be tired because that cracked me up seeing that. It gave me a good laugh. You know you're tired when you start laughing at ridiculous stuff. But yeah, La Push, there we go. Nia Bay, I don't know if that was something to do with the tsunami or not. Hello from New Zealand. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a shower before I go to bed too. I'm just kind of delirious here. Okay, let's take a look at any recent updates here. Hawaii Watch Warning Advisory numero 9, or let's see. Oh. Gauge location, amplification. Let's see, what else do we got here? 2 emergency management in the state of Hawaii. Okay, looks like nothing new under the sun with that. Honolulu, pretty rapid fluctuations back and forth. Tsunami waves continue. Honolulu, Pearl Harbor. See, the tide is falling there, but we're still getting the water fluctuations. Still going on Big Island. Midway, you can see it's finally calming down, it looks like. Kahului had some really big water fluctuations earlier and still going back and forth pretty good. I mean, you're almost going 5 feet back and forth. This is the Big Island. Did I misspeak on that previous one? There we go. Pretty rapid water fluctuations there in Hilo also. Nikolsky, Nia Bay. Maybe that is tsunami related, who knows. Crescent City is starting to get some wave action now. Port Orford also, you can see Charleston, Oregon. Definitely tsunami signature there. Cape Disappointment, that's a little bit of tsunami activity. Same thing with Westport. There's La Push, tsunami activity there. Nia Bay, that was probably tsunami activity there also. Still over 3,000 people watching. Thanks for everybody chiming in, joining the chat. How close are we tonight to 100,000 here? We slowed down a little bit, but we're 99.7. Wow. We are getting close. If all of a sudden I'm just not in the screen anymore, it means I'm sleeping on the floor. So someone come over and sign me off the computer. Grand Canyon Forest Fire. I've not checked that out. Doing a quick search here. Stand by. Yeah, so I'm going to put my YouTube plaque back behind me here. I'll put it back here with my Award of Excellence. This is what I do for my day job here. Let's see if you guys can see that. The live stream is on a delay, so I'm holding this up. It's going to be up here for a couple minutes, but man, we are almost to 100,000. Let me know if you guys could see that. And this came along with that. Oh, what happened there? Yeah, we're only 200 away. Let's take one more look here. All right, let's take a look here. We've got, yeah, Hilo's just going through some rapid water fluctuations there. Crescent City, here we go. That's still going up. Under 200 subscribers. Do I have to stay till 100,000? We're slowing down a little bit. We still have 3,000 people in the chat, but I can't imagine too many new people are coming in here. I think most people are probably subscribed already. Yeah, thanks for all the kind words, everybody. Yeah, let's check some of the, let's look inland here a little bit. Let's go to Port Orford. There we go. Charleston, Cape Disappointment getting it. Westport is getting it. The push, you can see that's not a bad little fluctuation there. I mean, hello. That's almost a foot up and down here. So that's a lot of water moving around there. La Push, Quileute River. Nia Bay, there we go. Little signal there. We're going to duplicate that. We're going to move inland here. Port Townsend. I don't see anything there yet. Let's look at Friday Harbor. If you haven't gone to Friday Harbor on the ferries, you're missing out. You got to check that out. South Dock. I don't even see any. There's no tide data there. Nothing inland yet. I don't see anything for Birch Bay. Anybody left to sub in here? Any more people want to subscribe? The problem is I'm gonna have so many people subscribe today. They're gonna get daily briefings every single day for the next couple of weeks. So some people will drop off. Oh, that was the Davis. Okay. I see. Somebody sent me a message. I see Ryan Voltalainen. We are almost there, folks. I'm going to have to hang around for 100,000. Yeah, get your dogs to subscribe. Look at this. We're going up. This is amazing. $99,917. Okay, let's run through this again. Let's check it out. Honolulu, Pearl Harbor, continues tsunami wave activity. Kahului, Maui. Hilo is just continues to be ramping it back and forth. I'm going to close Nikolsky out. We don't have anybody asking about that. Nia Bay, maybe. Crescent City. Looks like we just hit the crest there. Looks like that went up over a foot. Port Orford. Yeah, half a foot, maybe. Charleston, Oregon. Maybe half a foot. Cape Disappointment. Little bit of a bump there. It's pretty cool that you can see that signal, though. You got to admit. Westport, Washington. Little bump. La Push. Not a bad drop here. We're almost down a foot again there. Nia Bay. There's not going to be anything for this, but just kind of looking at that for Seattle, Washington. We got a ways to go before any kind of activity would make it into the Puget Sound. Looks like finally starting to flare down a little bit. The Bear Gulch fire, man, I got this on time lapse too. It's pretty cool looking, but nothing too exceptional. But you could see it was producing some pyrocumulus clouds on top of that fire. Okay, let's jump back out here and we'll go to don't see anything at North Spit yet. Marina Cove. Don't see anything yet. Nia Bay. Crescent City. Definitely tsunami action going on. Small tsunami activity up down the Washington coast. Looks like the push is fluctuating back up again. Whoops, reset zoom. Where are we now? 99,931. This is becoming a race to 100,000. Wow, look at this. You guys are killing it. My goodness. What is going on? Is it going to put a bunch of balloons up and stuff when I hit 100,000 here? Port Orford, Charleston, Cape D, Westport, Push, Nia Bay. When I hit 100,000, I don't know. I guess I'm going to like pick somebody out of the crowd here. I don't know how I'm going to do this though. Point Reyes. Let's see what that looks like. Point Reyes. Look at that. I think we have tsunami action. Point Reyes, California. Look at that. We got it. San Francisco. Don't see anything there yet. Didn't see anything at Eureka yet. Boom, we got it. Oh my goodness. I can't believe we actually just did that. He hit 100,000. Look at that. Man, the chat is coming in fast and furious. Okay, there's so many chats coming in. I'm just going to click on somebody randomly. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I can't click. Here we go. Where'd it go? It won't let me click on anything. There we go. Okay, Nick B. Email me. Nick B. Nick B, you won a Tempest weather station. Email me. Find my email address on the page. Send it on over. I randomly started clicking. The first one I got clicked on came up Nick B. Look at that. Oh yeah, it did give me a little celebration thing there. Fun. Okay, let's take one more look at the levels here. Pearl Harbor. Tsunami waves still occurring. Kuhio Bay. Hilo. Wild fluctuations continue. Nia Bay, Washington. Well, that Nia Bay doesn't show up much. I'm going to close that one out. Arena Cove, California. Crescent City, we're going through a trough here now, but that is tsunami wave action. Port Orford, Oregon. Charleston, Oregon. Cape Disappointment, Washington, getting a little bit of tsunami action. Westport. La Push, up, down, and back up again. Nia Bay, getting a little squirrely there. Point Reyes, California. We got it. And that is it. So I gave away a weather station. We got it. He's going to have to... Yeah, we got to 100,000. Thanks, everybody. What a fun time here. Oh, and I lost some subscribers. That's always what happens. Everybody was bumping up there. Now they're going to kick me off. I think YouTube will probably wait a little bit to make sure I can actually maintain the 100,000. When you gain 1,000, there's always some people that kick back off. But yeah, it's good to know that if not, we're pretty close to it. Yeah, this is all you guys, man. Thanks a lot. Hope you guys are having a good the rest of your night. I got to get to sleep so I can do my briefing tomorrow and I can go do a little bit of chasing and whatnot. So, yeah, hopefully you guys had fun with this. On to the next thing. We'll do some thunderstorm action. We'll talk about the weather tomorrow. I'll do my daily briefings, and I will talk to you guys later. I am going to bed. So thanks again, everybody.